young girl, scarcely 16. Thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my burgeo home 'neath the maiden hill. My burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my burgeo home 'neath the maiden hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes entwine. The fishing boats shine in the water so still, here in my home 'neath the maiden hill. When I had trouble or if I was sad, I always found comfort from good friends I had. They knew that I loved them and I always will. And my burgeo home 'neath the maiden hill. My burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my burgeo home 'neath the maiden hill. With our fishery failing, I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory, sure I'll see it still. My burgeo home 'neath the maiden hill. My burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my burgeo home 'neath the maiden hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include interview concerning the Alternative Measures Program, Halloween is fast approaching, some A.J. Matthews students went for a fun ride, Western Region Healthcare Board will be having a community meeting in November. These stories and more coming up after this.
Just a minute now, Bessy's singing out to me. Oh yes, it's Bessie. What say, old dear? You're going up to custom carpet to look for some borders and paper to match your new carpet. Wait for me, because I'm coming too. I love to go up there. Yes, sir, custom carpet is some nice place. If you don't know who I'm talking about, your neighbor do. Got to go now before Bessie goes and leave me. Wait for me, Bessie, because I'm going to custom carpet too. Yes, sir.
On Thursday, I spoke with Corporal Paul Matheson of the local RCMP and Kathy Cutler of the Department of Social Services concerning the Alternative Measures Program. Speaking with me in the studio today, I have Corporal Paul Matheson of the local RCMP and Kathy Cutler, social worker and youth court worker with the Department of Social Services. Welcome to our studio. Can you tell us what the Alternative Measures Program is all about?
The Alternative Measures Program is a program by which first-time offenders of youth have an opportunity to be dealt with without going to court. It keeps the first-time offenders out of the court system. Basically, that's it in a very brief nutshell.
Okay, I understand you've been involved in an Alternative Measures Program at one of your previous stations. Can you tell us what results the program obtained there?
Yes, when I was stationed in Gander several years ago, I was the detachment or the office coordinator of alternative measures with our detachment. What our role was, we would investigate an offense, theft, damage, underage drinking, or whatever. We would check and see if the youth was a first-time offender. If they were a first-time offender and admitted their guilt or their involvement with whatever crime it was, then we would refer them to the Alternative Measures Committee. we would do up all of our own paperwork as if we were investigating a normal file, but we would forward it to the prosecutor and have him okay it, basically, or agree that this person would be referred to the alternative measures program. Once that person was referred to the alternative measures program, the committee, the Youth Justice Committee, would review the case and assign that person or that case to one of the Youth Justice Committee. That person would then meet with the youth and perhaps the victim and maybe the parents, whatever was worked out, and design a contract or an agreement whereby they would be required to do certain activities, whether it be youth or community service, apology letter to the victim perhaps, go meet with the victim maybe.
There's a whole list of different things, right?
Yeah, there's no one set
No,
punishment
each one might be
or
different as well, right?
thing that they have to do. So this would keep them completely away from the court, and that's the advantage of it. You know, they would be dealt with by the community, and it worked quite well as far as we were concerned. I don't have any numbers to give you exact statistics, but as being coordinator there for 4 years, I don't know if we had any person that went through the alternative measures program end up being charged at a later date, meaning that would be their first and last brush with the law, basically.
Okay.
We found it very successful.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to say, like, the youth themselves also will, you know, they accept responsibility for the act, and I think, like, the Youth Justice Committee who administer the program, now they're all community volunteers, so they, I think what happens is the community feel more involved in that, you know, no, I don't say justice system as such, but they become more involved in the youth's lives and play a part. And what we also find, I think, in some committees is that it's acted on a lot quicker. Like it's not such a long period of time between, you know, offense to, you know, the consequences to the offense, right?
Yes,
So
because sometimes
it's probably more meaningful for the youth as well, right?
because sometimes they can end up having to go to court on 2 to 3 separate occasions before a charge is finally laid. Or
You can have an incident happen in April or May and not have it dealt with until November or December if you go
Yes.
through the courts.
right.
But this hopefully would be much more efficient, and you know, you would deal with it sooner so that both the victim and the youth would, you know, the victim would feel better because, well, now the action is being taken, and the youth would realize that what they would be dealt with for their actions quicker.
Okay. You advertised for volunteers to come forward and serve on a committee in hopes of setting up an alternative measures program here in Burgeo. What kind of response did you receive?
We got a fairly good response in Burgeo. We, I think it was 10, which is really good for a community this size, right? So, I mean, a normal youth justice committee usually comprise probably 7 or 8 members with a liaison from police and social services, basically, for support. So it's a really, really good response for the area.
Okay, I understand that a meeting was held here in Burgeo on Saturday, October 19th, concerning the program. Were you pleased with the progress made at the meeting?
Oh yes, it was really informative for myself as well, because I have never been involved with actually setting up an alternative measure program, but also for the members, for the volunteers who had shown up at the meeting. What happened was that once we had the volunteers put together and they expressed interest, I got in contact with the Stephenville Alternative Measures Program, and 3 members from their committee came down, and they said they were willing to brief us on basically what it was all about, what was involved, what kind of commitment they would have to make, just letting them know basically what they would have to do. And so I found it really good in that it cleared up a lot of the questions I had around it, and so now we know where we have to go from now, from here on in, kind of thing, what we had to do to get set up and stuff, right?
Okay, so what is the next step in getting the program off the ground?
Okay, right now we have a group of interested people, 8 or 9 people. So right now we have to go through, basically it's I guess a check. So what's happened right now is, like, actually today um, a waiver for a police check was sent out in the mail, as well as 3 references. Okay, and then after that's all taken care of, then we will have to submit a proposal to the Minister of Social Services. And basically, the proposal, I guess, is just you have to state what the membership of the committee, who are on the membership, right, names and that, and what the objectives and the operational guidelines for the committee are, going to be set up. So this is like a formal written proposal that will be submitted to the minister, and then basically the Minister of Social Services kind of like approves it, and you're then recognized as a Youth Justice Committee for your area. And with that comes other things like you have an operational grant, for certain operational expenses and stuff like that, right?
Okay, so are you still accepting names of people that might be interested?
Sure. I mean, I think the more people involved, the better. I mean, we got to limit it to a certain extent, right? But see, it depends on how they want to set up their committee, because what normally happens, you have a chair, a vice chair, treasurer, secretary, stuff like that. But another person on the committee, or another individual role, is a mediator in the committee, and that person normally sits down with the victim and the offender to try to work out the agreement. Now, we could have and that mediator could be sitting on a committee, on a monthly basis, or they could be just called upon when needed. So, we could have need for, several other people from the community, right, to get involved. So yes, we are accepting other names.
Okay, is there anything else that either of you would like to add?
All I'd like to add is that, I just want everybody to remember that this is like the community's, this is all, volunteer, and it's the community members that run it. We don't run it. We're just liaisons, and I would try to give support where I could, or answer questions if I could, right? But, the community volunteers are the ones that are going to sit down and decide how they want to see it run. Each one is different. I mean, nobody's going to have exactly the same Stephenville or whatever. So they may decide something slightly different, from another committee. But I just want, to keep that in mind, that not us, it's them that are doing it, right?
Well, I would like to add that we, the RCMP, would like to see it happen in Burgeo, because as far as I'm concerned, if we can have an alternative measures program, keep our youth out of our courts, that'll be much better. I don't like seeing a lot of youth standing up before the judge every court date here in Burgeo. That's not our objective. Our objective is to try to help them and maybe learn from their mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. We're all the same, and these youth are no different. Let's hopefully that it's the first and last time, and this program hopefully will give them that chance.
Well, if it helps one youth, then it's a success.
Exactly.
That's right.
See, there's educational, they can get alcohol counseling, or there can be some, this is a far-reaching program, the way I understand it, and the way I've seen it.
It's more of an educational emphasis. It's not a punitive approach taken with it, right?
Like, hypothetically, if you had 8 or 9 youth referred to the program, all for underage drinking, just for say, maybe you could get some videos or some educational material, or someone come in from another area, an expert in the area, to speak to them. Or they could talk to the police or to whoever to learn about their alcohol situation.
Okay, you've got a brochure there on the program. Are these brochures available to the public?
By Department of Social Services,
Yes.
and they're available at our office if anybody wants to pick one up. And it gives just
Yep.
briefly, what alternative measures is all about.
Okay. Well, we'd like to thank you both for coming in and speaking with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
During Fire Prevention Week, firefighters visited A.J. Matthews School to talk about fire safety. And the students got a chance to visit the fire hall. Also, one student from each grade got to go for a ride on the fire truck. Acting Fire Chief Glenn Han and firefighter Trent Ricketts were busy on Wednesday giving rides on the fire truck. Noelle Anderson and Krista Parsons, seen here, were 2 of the lucky primary students who got to go for a ride. Altogether, 6 lucky students went for a spin around Burgeo in the fire truck. Stay with us. There's more of This Week in Review coming up following these words from Custom Carpet Sales.
Lizzie wanted a carpet for the spare bedroom. She wanted a pretty rose color. She said, well, see, boy, when we got up there, they had so many pretty colors, she didn't know what to choose from. I swear they had 100 or more color samples there. Oh, man, it was unbelievable. Well, when we ended up, we bought enough carpet to do the old house. My son, the old place looks something nice now, painted carpet right through. Everything looks brand new. Bessie is right pleased. Come to think of it, I is too. Yes, sir, for your painting and flooring needs, go to Custom Carpet. You'll be so glad you did.
The Western Regional Health Board will be having open house displays and community meetings across Western Newfoundland during the last of October and the month of November. Dr. Harry Watts, Chief Executive Officer for the Western Healthcare Corporation, and Dr. Minnie Wasmer, Director for Community Health Western, officially launched the Healthy Western Region Project on Wednesday, October 23rd at Western Memorial Hospital, Corner Brook. During the last of October and the month of November, there will be a 1-hour open house display and community meetings held in different communities across Western Newfoundland. In Burgeo, the open house display and community meeting will be held on Wednesday, November 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. in the Anglican Parish Hall. The San and Sea Matthew Visit Committee are trying to arrange to have Buddy What's-His-Name and the other fellows come to Burgeo for a concert. The concert is tentatively scheduled for around the end of June or the first week in July of next year. In order to have the group come to Burgeo, the committee needs to know if there is enough interest. To date, there are only about 50 seats reserved for the concert. Unless more people show an interest, the concert will have to be cancelled. The cost of tickets is $15. You pay $5 now and the other $10 later. If for some reason after reserving a ticket you're unable to make it, your money will be refunded. But the San and Sea Matthew Visit Committee cannot book the group unless they know that enough people are interested in attending. To reserve your ticket, phone Paulette Marsden or Florence Courtney by November the 8th. The San and Sea Matthew Visit Committee are also looking for a logo related to the festival and the Cabot celebrations. This logo will be printed on t-shirts, caps, etc. If you can draw, why not put your talents to work and try to design a logo for all to enjoy during next summer's festivities. This logo will represent our community during the San and Sea Festival as well as next summer's Cabot celebrations. In addition to having your handiwork displayed, the contest winner will receive a free t-shirt and cap with their logo printed on it. Get involved in the 1997 celebrations and help promote your community. Entries can be dropped off to the town office or the BBS office. The deadline is Friday, November the 8th, and the contest is open to all ages. Halloween is fast approaching. Signs of ghosts and goblins are popping up everywhere. We took a look at some of the Halloween displays that have sprung up around town. As the kids get ready to go trick-or-treating, safety should be a top priority. Parents should make certain that their children practice safety at all times. The grade 3 students dropped by our studio to tell us their Halloween safety tips on Pansy's Garden. Here's the safety tips the students want you to keep in mind.
No, stop! Stop and listen before you cross the street. Now let's say it together so we won't forget. Stop, look, and listen before you cross the street. Go only to homes of people you know and trust. Always wear a bright costume so you can be seen at night. Go with a handle. Get the ground and check your treats before you eat them. Wear makeup instead of a mask so you can see. Always carry a light so you can be seen at night. Always remember to be polite and say thank you. Happy Halloween, everybody!
Stay with us. There's more of This Week in Review coming up immediately following these words from tonight's sponsor.
I was up to that new place the other day. It's up by the new hospital. Oh, yes, custom carpet. That's it. My son, you should see the stuff they got up there. They got all kinds and everything to do it with. Bessie, that's the wife. She would keep them on for ages to go up. Jerry, she said, it's not going to hurt you to go up and look around. So we went up. My son, I was amazed. The colors of paint you can get mixed up there is unreal. There's hundreds and hundreds of colors, the prettiest kind. And brushing rollers, my son, don't be talking. There's rollers that's lint-free, rollers of melamine paint, and brushes for painting counters. Well, I could go on and on.
The Bay St. George SPCA has a number of dogs and cats that need good homes. Here are just a few of them. SPCA's Pets of the Week. Shiloh, seen here, and his sister Cheyenne are both 10 months old. They're both waiting to be adopted into good homes. Scrappy is 4.5 months old. He is a mixed breed. He is white with black just around his eyes. This is one of the many puppies at the shelter. This is one of 3 Shepherd Rottweiler mixed puppies. They are 7 weeks old and ready to be adopted. This is Buster. He is a 3-month-old part terrier. When full grown, Buster will still be a small house dog. In addition to the dogs, the shelter also has a lot of cats and kittens. This is just one of them. If you're going to Stephenville, why not drop by the shelter located at 15 Utah Drive or call them at 643-2811. The shelter is open 7 days a week. Off the Rack. This week as we scanned our tape racks, we came across a video of a local band from 1994. Here's a song by Corey, Travis, and Roger, Young Rhythm.
You never listen to my
Playbill. Join us on Monday afternoon, 3:30 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Driftwood and Friends. Try your luck on Wednesday at 7 p.m. by playing RBP TV Bingo. On Thursday at 7:30 p.m. we'll have a video entitled Development of the Gang Baiter from the DFO Video Library. Join Marie, Melissa, and Pansy Saturday morning, 11 a.m. for Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. The Guide Movement will be going door to door tomorrow afternoon selling Girl Guide cookies. Stay tuned right now for a short video on the Girl Guide cookie program. Stay tuned following the Guide video for a video we originally aired a few years back. The first video in the Driftwood and Friends series. We hope you enjoy it. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Good night.